One of your assignments for language arts is to create a podcast related to the Holocaust and use textual evidence from the book Refugee. The tool Mrs. Fry would like for you to use for this project is GarageBand. This is part of the Apple tools that are loaded on your computer, which we don't use very often. GarageBand is a powerful recording tool. You can use it for voiceovers and for recording music. Here in this video, I'm going to share with you how to get started with a basic project in GarageBand. I'm going to go over the basic layout and then actually open up GarageBand to show you how to get started. But first, let's turn to the layout of GarageBand. So when you first open up GarageBand, this is what your screen is going to look like. And across the top, you see that there are a variety of tools. So let's start with the 4 on the left-hand side. On the left-hand side, you have the library button. So there's a description for each of these under there. And I'm not going to go into detail on every one of these because some of these you aren't going to use because some of them apply more to music creation. But next you have a question mark. That's a quick help button. So you can go there to maybe type in a word or phrase to get help if you get stuck. There's also the Smart Control button, which lets you quickly modify and fine-tune the sound of your track. But next is the pair of scissors. The scissors allows you to edit and make changes to different areas in your project. So it allows you to cut and move pieces around. The next set of controls, to me, just look like basic recording tools. It's what you're used to when looking at your iPhone when you're getting ready to make a recording. So the 2 arrows that point to the left, that is your rewind button. The 2 arrows that point to the right is your forward or fast forward buttons. The square is the one that allows you to stop your recording. The single arrow that points to the right is your play button. So that's where you can start playing at a particular time. And then the round record button is what you will click to begin making your recording. Next, this is the LCD display. And so the first one are some musical notes, which is where you can click to switch the project ruler from bars and beats to time, minutes, and seconds. So you may want to do that so you can see how long your project is lasting. So you may want to switch that to time and minutes. The next is the playhead position. So this is where you can see as you're recording, like you may stop, you may think, all right, I'm stopping my recording right here. It is at position 29. I need to remember at 29, I want to go back and add this sound effect or this piece of music. So knowing where the playhead is helps you figure out maybe small editing changes that you may want to make or you may want to make some enhancements to your project. The BPM is beats per minute. So this is where you can adjust the tempo of your project, make something go faster or slower. Maybe you might want to do that with your music to create excitement or some type of effect. Then next is the project key, which I've never used before. It's click to change the key of your project. I think that's the sound in which it's being played in. It's more related to the musical aspect of this, which I haven't done. Those of you who are in band or chorus or very musically inclined would probably understand that and use that a bit more effectively than others. And then finally is click to choose the time signature for your project. Once again, I've never used that tool either. But the display mode, the playhead position, the BPN, you may want to use all of those. Then the next set of controls running across the top. The first 2, I really don't know that you'll use those because I think they're related more to music. But you may want to do something with the music that you put into your recording. You may want to use the button at that point. Then the third tool over is the count in button. The count in button, if you don't make sure this is gray, and the metronome button, when you first begin your project, there'll be a clicking noise. Like I'm going to snap my fingers here. It's like snapping your fingers, so it's trying to keep you on a beat. So when you're recording your podcast, you want to make sure the count in button and the metronome button are both grayed out, because you don't want that clicking noise in the background while you were talking. Trust me. The next tool here you have is the master volume slider. So sometimes you may need to adjust the volume to increase it. And then finally, the next set of controls you have here, the one that I think you'll use the most, is the notepad button. A very neat feature in GarageBand is that you can actually type your podcast script in the notes section. So you can have the notepad open as you are recording, and that way you can see what you are trying to record. Apple does have here in GarageBand some loops that you could use for music to put in your project, but I think these take a long time to download. You may want to try it here at your house, but I'm not sure that you'll be successful in doing that. And I'll offer you a suggestion for another place that you can go to get music that is copyright free for your project. And then finally, you have the library, and it contains all of the built-in sounds and presets in GarageBand. I would encourage you, when you're looking at your voice, to always use compressed vocal. And the reason for that is it'll keep all of your audio recordings at about the same level, and it'll help keep your voice the most natural. All right, so that is the basic layout of GarageBand. Now we're going to actually open up GarageBand, and I'm going to show you how to get started on a project in there. All right, so I want to show you how to get started with your project in GarageBand. Now, if you have never used GarageBand before, there's a chance that it may not be on your computer. So one of the first things you'll need to do before you even get started is go up here to the Bluebird kiosk, go to Install Software, and then you're going to install GarageBand. So definitely do that first. It may take a little while to install, but hopefully it'll go fairly quickly for you at home without competing with other people trying to get on the network. So then after that, I go down here to the launch pad, and I would click on GarageBand to open up GarageBand. So right now I have GarageBand opened. When it first opens up, you're going to have the option New Project. It's an empty one. And then you want to click on Voice. And then you're going to go down here and click Choose. Now, GarageBand is opened. And as you can see here, there are many of the features that I mentioned to you in the first part of this video. There's the library, the help button, and other resources. So under each one of these, when you click on it, it'll give you a brief description of what it will do. Here are the controls that will allow you to record, to stop the recording, to rewind, to go forward, and so on. Here's the LCD panel, which will help you look at the beats per minute, the tempo, where you are in the project. You can click on this down arrow to see more options. You may want to change it to beats and time, so that way you can see how long your project is lasting. There's the tuner, and here's the count in and the metronome. They're both grayed out, so you should be good to go. Here's the master volume slider, and then here is the notes section that I mentioned, and I'll come back to that in just a second. Here is the voice, and you can go over here and click on compressed vocal, so that'll keep your voice level the same throughout your project. Now, I'm going to go over here and go ahead and click on the notepad. Last year when I worked with the classes on how to do this project and how to get into GarageBand, I was able to go through with them the basics for how to write their introduction, how to begin their podcast. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to Command V and paste in one of the scripts from last year, because I know some of you all had some different options too for reading different books. So you might not just be using Refugee. I'm just now remembering that. I said that in the first part of the video that you'd be using Refugee, but some of you may also be using some different text to bring out some ideas related to the Holocaust as textual evidence. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and click on the record button and begin reading the script. So here we go. 11 million. What do you imagine this number to be? Money? Years? Days? How about the total death toll of a mass genocide? Today we will be talking about a very tragic point in history called the Holocaust. The Holocaust is when a man by the name of Adolf Hitler tried to create a master race by exterminating the quote and unquote desirables. Now, I'm going to stop there. I'm at 15. So far, it's taken me 28 seconds to record that much. I'm going to go ahead and move the playhead back to the beginning, because at the beginning, I was talking and the words I was saying, I don't want them to be a part of the script. So let me just go ahead and show you how you can edit out words that you don't want. Here we go. 11. All right, so I see where I need to go. So I'm going to move the playhead to right there. I'm going to go up to Edit, and I'm going to click on Split Regions at Playhead. So now they're two separate parts. I'm going to use my mouse here. I'm going to select this portion that I don't want and hit the delete button. So this moves it back to the beginning. I'm going to move it back to the beginning, move the playhead back to the beginning, and then I'm ready to go. 11 million. What do you imagine this number? All right, so there I have the beginning of my script, and it's ready to go, and I got rid of the part that I didn't want to have in there. So there's the basics for getting started with it. You can see that I have the script over here. You can pause that and maybe give yourself some ideas for how you may want to write your podcast script. Then just remember, every time when you get done working on this, because you may not do it all at once, you want to go up to File, and I would do File and Save As. And you can save it for now as just maybe podcast project. And you can save it within GarageBand for right now. So you can save it that way. And then if I would go up here to File and Close, it's not there, but I can go here and I can click on Recent, and there's Podcast Project. And so now I can open it back up and work on it. Now, I believe at another point, Ms. Fry will share with you directions for how you can export the project and share it with her. If you have any questions regarding how to do this project, you can message me, Mrs. Griffith, on Schoology, or you can message Mrs. Fry, and both of us will do our best to help you out. So good luck. Enjoy making the podcast. It really is a lot of fun.